At number 10, we have the pyramid. I put it in the last possible place. I'm not happy about having it on the list, but I had to, considering how it exploded, how everyone was starting to use it a couple of playtests ago. But here's my experience when I have people playing the pyramid, and that's when they're on my team. So it's not exactly better when they're on the other team. So yeah, it made a list, but very, very reluctantly. Next on my list, at number 9, is the KIROV. The KIROV is just like the pyramid, it's a ramming robot. It's just that, unlike the pyramid, I actually like the KIROV. I think it's cute in a kind of weird way, and that's despite the fact that this is my experience with the KIROV. So the kitty bus makes my list because there's nothing quite like getting run over by a big pink smiling kitty bus. At number 8, I got the CHEVY Avalanche. Now this robot got posted quite recently at the Robocraft Discord, and the creator apparently made this one as a replica of his own real life truck. I think it got some great details, it's one of the best models I've seen around, and I also really love the fact that he put the guns on it so you can actually bring it into battle, even though I doubt it will be that effective. My choice for number 7 is the Subordinator. Now some might argue this is not exactly a real robot. I think the terminology is something like neutral objective or map objective or something like that. But it's a robot I had a lot of fun playing with, and it certainly is a game changer. This can change a losing game into a winning one if the opponents are not paying attention. It can take down towers in no time. So I think it definitely deserves a spot on this list. I'm going to start by saying that I have no idea how to pronounce the name of this robot. The ZILTCHAPC, maybe? Anyhow, this would categorize for me as an art bot. But the fun thing with this art bot is that it's an art bot that can actually fight. It's a quite good light scouting / tower capping robot. This robot I think got some amazing details. I get the feeling of it being a bit inspired by steampunk, especially the exhaust pipe and some of the detailing, but at the same time some parts of it feels very futuristic. It might be that this robot is based on some franchise I don't know about some model, but it might also just be the creation from the imagination of the player who made this robot, and if so, it probably deserves to be even higher on this list. Number 5 is the flying bus. It flies using the wheel glitch, so this bus won't really work forever. It probably won't work that long at all. But it was the first robot in Robocraft 2 with plane-like movement while flying, making it, I wouldn't say viable, but almost viable. It controls really well, and I also think it managed to be quite influential, because following the posting of this build on the Robocraft Discord, a lot of other players than the creator of this robot started to use the same kind of technique for flight to create a lot of different planes and different types of flying vehicles. This was one of the builds I actually was certain I wanted on my list even before actually starting to put the list together. The question was just where on the list to put it, not if it should be on the list or not. At number 4, I got a robot that does not exist anymore. I actually talked with the creator because I wanted to make some video footage of this robot, and he allowed me to use his old footage because the robot unfortunately is deleted and doesn't exist. This robot was the robot that inspired me to make my hopper that kind of got somewhat widespread use and that I had a lot of fun with. That robot would not exist if it was not for this robot. I think this was like the real start of the Hopper class robot. There might have been other builds by other creators earlier than this one that could jump and leap up to higher elevation. But I think it was in this thread where there was a big discussion about how to make robots jump, how the mechanics worked. And after that, a lot of people, including me, started to make this kind of robot. Because of that, I really think it deserves to be very high up on the list. My number 3 is the CHOMPER. No, I'm not sure if the CHOMPER was the one that started the CHOMPER class, so to speak, but I kind of think so. So this is a class of robot where you kind of eat up other robots, or you smack them to pieces with your mighty jaws or other type of melee weapons. The creator of the CHOMPER was nice enough to let me use some of his footage because, well, it's on the CRF, but I didn't have any good combat footage of this robot, so I asked him to be able to use some of his. I really like when there are classes that gets created where the developers haven't really given us a class, but the players as a group invent something that turns out to be a new class of robot. And that's what the CHOMPER is. It's a new class of robot that chomps other robots. I also think the robot is really good looking and also seem to be very effective in combat, even against the Subordinator. Number 2 is the CORSAIR airship. Just like the CHOMPER, it kind of gave birth to a whole new class of vehicles, the flying ones. It's not the first one, I know that. There was kind of a really early prototype that barely made off the ground. But this one actually proved flight could work and that you could get a full robot up in the sky. I think this robot inspired so many people to start experimenting with the wheelglitch and creating their own flying robots. So it really deserves a spot on this list for being super innovative and creating a whole class of impossible robots flying using their wheels. My number 1 on the list just had to be Terry. He's kind of like the mascot of the early days of the Robocraft 2 alpha. He got posted every day for 53 days, at least I think it was 53 days straight, by the creator, Morality, asking for the developers free jam to add a voice chat in the Robocraft 2 Discord. And eventually they actually did. They even named the voice chat after Terry for a week before changing it back to just calling it voice chat. During the time he got posted for almost 2 months, he also received a lot of love from the community and also acknowledgement from the developers. Even some developer wrote that he would miss Terry when he was gone. And yeah, Terry disappeared, at least from the Discord after voice channel was added. He still exists on the CRF though, if you want to check him out. First out is the KIROV airship. It's the big brother of the CORSAIR airship made by the same creator. I felt like I couldn't have both of them on the list, and the CORSAIR was the first one after all. The Pathforcer is another robot that almost made it to the list. I think it's a really nice looking robot with really good combat capabilities. I'm quite sure I would have put it on the list if I just needed to have made room for a big pink pyramid, unfortunately. Another robot I feel is really impressive is the 2000 BC's Ray. It's probably as good as the flying robot's ever going to get when it comes to how it controls the sky, how it turns, how fast it is, everything like that. It's just really impressively made. And I also want to mention the DERP walker. Now, I really love when players create their own classes, and walking is not nearly viable in Robocraft 2, but the effort of actually trying and make it look good, I think deserves some attention. So that was all robots, the top 10 list and some honorable mentions. Now, do you agree with the list? Is there some robot that should have been on the list that is not there? Write in the comment section below. I can always make a new list in the future. Cheers!